Senator Warren, Senator Gillibrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hansel, currently there's discussions within the DoD about whether the NSA and the U.S. Cyber Command should be dual-hatted. Do you believe all of the prior reviews of this? Arrangement, including one just 3 years ago, that have found substantial benefits to that structure, or do you feel that this should be reconsidered and an open question? What's your recommendation for the future arrangement of a dual-hatted arrangement?
Thank you for the question, Senator. Without being in the department and having the most current information, I can't make a full assessment, but I did testify on this 5 years ago. I'm very aware in the interceding time, how robust the capabilities at U.S. Cybercom have become and how the criticality of the cyber domain for our national security. I am very aware of all the lengthy amount of thought that has gone into this to date, the Dunford Commission and the current SSG implementation guide that Secretary Austin put in place, and would certainly leverage all thinking to date in any analysis. Although I don't have a specific recommendation on this, I do believe, just like in the private sector, that every organization, to include the defense, intelligence, and security enterprise, has to constantly assess itself to make sure it's aligned with the right tools, organizational structure to maximize effects. I would just note that I am very aware of this committee's language, that any recommendation to change the dual hat comes with a need for both the secretary and the chairman to certify no degradation in operational capability to Cybercom for our national security. And certainly, if confirmed and I conduct a review, would advise the secretary accordingly to that.
OUSD is one of the full-time participants of the DoD's cross-functional team for anomalous health incidents. A DoD Inspector General report from March 23 recommended a review and update any applicable counterintelligence guidance and policy documents to address AHI-related information and counterintelligence. To my knowledge, this has still not been completed. Will you commit to reviewing and implementing the recommendations of the DoD IG report?
I will, Senator. I think it is absolutely critical. I know firsthand the importance of taking care of those that are willing to put themselves on the line in the service of our country. And if confirmed, I would ensure that the Defense Intelligence Enterprise continues to make AHI a counterintelligence reportable event so that we can determine any relatedness to foreign intelligence service activities.
Thank you. Mr. Matthews, Secretary Hegseth just took the unbelievable action of firing the Judge Advocates General of the military departments. These senior military lawyers were put in place to provide independent legal advice. The law currently states no officer or employee of the Department of Defense may interfere with the ability of a Judge Advocate General to give independent legal advice. I know Senator Reid asked you a similar question, and you said that you will follow the law and you will work to maintain independence. How are your JAGs supposed to feel about this, and how are you going to assure them that they will not be subject to political pressure?
Good morning, Senator. Thank you for the question, and thank you for your work on military justice reform throughout the years. You know many JAGs, Senator. You know it's hard to control them because you came out with the special trial counsel concept and they opposed it. So when they have an issue, they will not hesitate to speak up, and they will. And it's been my experience that judge advocates and the Joint Force are willing to, they have options. They can leave government service. They can become lawyers at corporate law firms or corporations. So they're going to do the right, they're not in these jobs for money. So they're going to do the right thing regardless, Senator. So I think their moral fiber, their courage, they've been trained to choose the harder right over the easier wrong.
Well, we are counting on them to exert their independence and their legal acumen and to really strengthen the military justice system, which has not been working well. So it's on you to make sure they feel supported, to make sure they have the tools and resources they need, to make sure they don't feel that they are being politically bullied into certain outcomes. I'm also very concerned that Secretary Hegseth is considering downgrading the Judge Advocate General from 3 stars to 2 stars. I'm sure you were aware that we have 20 years of precedent that put that change in place so that they would have independence. Do you think this rank reduction is appropriate?
Senator, I think that this Congress gave the Secretary the discretion to determine what grade they serve at. As you well know, Senator, when Senator Graham led the fight to have the Judge Advocates General serve at the 09 level, it was required that they be at the 09 level. That was changed. We all have agreed that there's depending on, it's too top heavy with stars. And so I think there's an overall assessment of the rank structure within the department at the headquarters of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. And so, you know, it may be that other principal staff officers on the Army, Navy, and Air staffs also lose their grades. So I think I think the quality of the legal advice is not impacted by the grade that an officer serves at. When I joined the Army, and the Judge Advocates General were 2 stars, and they gave frank advice. And commanders are always going to rely upon their judge advocates because they want to stay out of trouble. So they play a vital role at the combatant commands or at the 06 level. So I think that, you know, rank's important, but more important is the quality of the legal advice that they're going to be issuing.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. We'll be counting on you to bring a military justice system that is worthy of the sacrifice of our men and women who serve.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Matthews, you made a very frank and honest answer to that question, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Senator Gillibrand. Senator Scott.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. Well, first off, congratulations to each of you on your nominations. I think